Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you. So Hasbro Pulse had their Fan Force Friday Star Wars live stream, and it was exclusively about the Haslab Star Wars Razor Crest. I have to say, Patrick and Chris really represented Star Wars and the brand itself very well. They're two very enthusiastic gentlemen, and I think that they themselves have been really surprised by the success of this Haslab project. I'm very much so a fan of how enthusiastic Patrick is with his alrighty, and particularly of Chris in design and how he talked about how he felt when he first handled the actual model for this and how interested he was with it and how much so he enjoyed playing around with it. This is an item that I'm actually quite surprised that it really surprised them that this sold really well and sold really quickly. For me, this is probably the most popular thing that Disney Star Wars has done, so I'm absolutely shocked that they decided to make it a crowdfunding project rather than releasing this in a sort of main line. I'm curious what the decision was behind that. Now, during this live stream, they introduced a couple of tidbits about the backer goals, the likes of the Mandalorian coming with a cloth cape or a fabric cape, the Childs that will be coming on vintage cardback with a vac sealed pram, and they also talked about this Mandalorian ship, the Razor Crest, getting a premium deco. Also in the stream, they talked about how currently there's no plans for this to go to most retailers, to be on retail shelves. I think that that would be an absolute no-brainer. I think that this is very strongly possible that this could go onto retailer shelves. This has been a wildly successful project for them, and personally I think it's very strange that this wasn't a general release within itself. I think that this would have sold extremely well had it been just normally on the shelves. Now, by the time that this comes out, it is going to be another year between this release of the project and the actual physical release of the item itself. So I suppose you have to take into consideration that will the show still be popular by then? Will the Mandalorian character be still popular? We've heard some of the rumblings that have happened around on set in relation to that one. So will the ship actually still be within existence? Because we're seeing that this is going to include an escape hatch, and the two gentlemen were very specific about saying that they wanted to include that escape hatch. And that is something we did not see during season 1, and it's possible that it will arrive now during season 2. I think also the fact that they want it backed by a certain date in November before the show kind of really gathers steam, or in my mind, has some sort of spoiler about it. So by the time you've put down the money for it, and the ship may or may not still be around by that time, I think may be another cause for concern. However, I will say that they talked about saying that they will have an additional tier that will be on this, and that they racked their brains in thinking what this might be. They had a couple of shots like this one that I'm showing here in this video, and we can see here we have a sort of coloured plastic that's here within the engine. Also, we're underneath here, there seemed to be some sort of red sort of button, and there was an image shown, and Patrick really skipped by that very quickly, which I noticed straight away. So I think personally that the next tier is going to be possibly lights and possibly sounds. Why do we think that? Well, I think with the terms of plastic that you have here, the type of plastic you have here, and the fact that there seems to be like a red button underneath here on each side, along with the front of the Mandalorian ship, I think it's very possible that we could see this having lights and sounds. So as we can see here, there's two more red buttons here, two more red lights I should say. There's red lights under here, and then in and around the back. I think it's very possible that the next tier could be lights personally. Now, would I like lights and sound in this? Absolutely. Do I think then it would actually bump up my appreciation of the cost of this? Because remember, in Europe it's €400. In British pounds it is £350, and in dollars it is $350 before tax. So currently at the moment, do I feel it's worth that price? I don't really. I actually feel that that is way over budget in my opinion in terms of what I think it's worth. If it was to include lights and sounds, I would certainly be more impressed with that one. Patrick also said during this stream that there will be more accessories that will come later on down the line in terms of the vintage collection that can go along with this ship. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that we could see Grief Karga, it means that we could see Quill, it means that we could see some of the carbonite blocks that we had seen within the Mandalorian ship in the season itself, and it possibly means that we could see some of the team that tagged along with him to the prison episode. in the vintage collection. So this is all marketing, and very strong marketing by Patrick, to say, look, if this is successful, we will keep rolling out those type of figures that can add to this sort of playset now that this is essentially going to be. I think that that's very good. I'm hoping that the print on this and the deco is going to be really nice. And I think if they're talking about having a vac sealed pram for the child, I certainly expect a premium deco for the ship itself. Now, I was kind of surprised that they didn't mention too much about the ship and how they would have used and worked with maybe ILM and the people who built that ship. I thought that was kind of interesting. They do have removable panels on it at the moment. They also have an escape hatch, and they say that the inclusion of the child in this is also another tier. I'm actually surprised that they thought that this was going to do okay and that it wasn't going to blast past tiers really easily. We've seen that Hasbro Sentinel also be really surprising to the guys who are in control of that, but to me it's absolutely no surprise. People are a big fan of Marvel Legends. They're big fans of the Haslab set itself. I'm a big fan of what's going to come at Unicron. I've backed the Sentinel also. I'm considering backing this Razor Crest, as I'm a big fan of the Mandalorian and the ship itself. I think it really looks nice. It gives me a big vibe of the old Republic gunships from Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. So for me, I think it does bring some sort of nostalgia to the way it looks. What's holding me back from purchasing this though is the ship going to be in use past season 2? Is it possible that it could be destroyed and then you're saying to yourself, well, now I have a €400 item that's actually not in use anymore, if the Mandalorian decides to upgrade his ship then from season 3 onwards? That's even if Din Djarin is around by that time and they don't shift focus onto what I suspect to be another Mandalorian perhaps in the following season. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. I think personally it's going to be lights and possibly sounds. That's going to be the next tier on this one. I think it's the most easy one for them to engage in this. They could definitely hide a battery compartment somewhere within the ship, whether it be below the ship or whether it be above the ship or within the turbines, because we see that the actual turbines here come off of the ship. So I think that could be a pretty easy one to do. Would that wired throughout the whole thing? Maybe, maybe not. I would certainly be interested to see how they would decide to do things like that. It does look like a pretty big ship, so I think that the size-wise of it, it does look very impressive. But again, you're going to have to give me a little bit more for me to say, yeah, I'll drop that coin on that type of thing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like the video, make sure you share the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below. What do you think that the next tiers for this should be? Do you think that they should stretch beyond those tiers and maybe do 5 and 6 tiers for this Hasbro Haslab Razor Crest? Are you a fan of this Haslab way of crowdfunding these items, or would you prefer to see these items within store shelves? Recently we've seen Transformers Scorponok, we have seen Omega Supreme, who are large Transformers, so to me it's kind of strange to see a very popular character's ship not be on shelves in general. That's a strange thing to me. I think Hasbro could actually widen it out and make much more money. Do you also think then that this is going to see a standard release later on down the line? It's possible that they could decide to do that, in my opinion. Does that make you think then that if you want to get this ship at all, or does the perks that are within this set make you think, well, I would rather have this one, and then if the other ones come along down the line, they will not have the same exclusive pram, they will not have the same exclusive cape, etc. Is that what's pushing you over the edge? Have you already backed this project? If you have, what made you back it exactly? Also, if you've backed it already, how is it going to fit into your collection? I would love to know how people are going to display this one, because I'm curious myself if it's something I want to back personally. I'm quite close to it, but I do think that if it included 1 or 2 more really good perks, I think I'd be all in for it personally, even though I don't collect the vintage collection, funnily enough. I'm going to leave the video there. Again, make sure you like this video, make sure you share this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is the way, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.